A very warm welcome to you. You're watching News 9 Live and this is On Point. But before I introduce you to today's other On Points, let's take a quick look at the headlines. Manipur government suspends internet services for 5 days. Curfew imposed in 3 districts of Manipur. Turmoil continues. Big impact to News 9 exclusive. Manipur police response to former DG of Assam Rifles that no explosives were dropped by drone in Kautruk. West Bengal junior doctor stir continues over RG car horror despite Supreme Court direction. Pro-separatist MP from Baramulla, Engineer Rashid gets bail till October 2nd. Will campaign in Jammu Kashmir elections. Terrorist Afzal Guru's brother Ejaz Ahmed Guru to contest elections from Sopore says won't seek vote in his name. Union Minister Hardeep Puri lambasts Rahul Gandhi over his remark on Sikhs, reminds him of 1984. BJP releases second list of 21 candidates for Haryana Assembly polls. Captain Yogesh Bairagi to take on Vinesh Phogat. Welcome. Big impact to News 9 exclusive with former DG of Assam Rifles, Lieutenant General PC Nair, who said a lot of things on my interview. Now that has led to claims and counterclaims. Manipur police addressed a press conference on Tuesday in response to the answers given by Lieutenant General Nair in my interview. Lieutenant General Nair, former DG Assam Rifle, had said that the Manipur police is divided and there is no Manipur police anymore, but it is Meitei police and Kuki police. Sir, is it correct to say that there is a lack of coordination between the local police force and Assam Rifles?
You can't say that. Let's get back a little into the past. All the anti-insurgency operations that have happened with the Assam Rifle and Indian Army on one side, we also have had the Manipur police constantly by our side, due to which we've had a lot of success. But in this particular instance, the moment this happened, the police got divided on ethnic lines, as you know. So from that date till now, and let me be very honest in saying that there is no Manipur police. It is Meitei police, there is Kuki police. That's how they went into their respective areas, and that is how they have been since then.
Are you saying that there are only Meitei police officers in valley areas and Kuki police officers in the hill areas?
I'm not talking of officers, I'm talking of the
constabulary?
Yeah, constabulary.
So are you saying that ethnic divide is complete?
That ethnic divide is more or less complete in the police, and that was one of the problems. See, in any internal security situation, if you don't have the local police by your side, it's very difficult. You try and think of such a situation in J&K. Surely the successes that the army and the Rashtra Rifles have been getting are largely because of the police being by their side, which was not the case here.
Are you saying that there is a lack of cooperation from police when it comes to Assam Rifles?
It is not a question of cooperation, it is a question of their being drawn out to their respective ethnic identity, possibly because of the pressures that are there. If they didn't go, you don't know what would have happened to their families. So it was in their own interest. I won't blame them. The situation was so volatile that they had no option but to go back to their areas where they belong to.
Let me come to the moot point, sir, and then we'll go to the issues like Myanmar, foreign militants and poppy cultivation and even drones. Why are Meiteis so opposed to Assam Rifles?
Thanks, Karthik. I'm glad you asked that question, because this is something that I keep getting asked. Again, it is not after 3rd of May that they've become anti-Assam Rifle. You need to again go into the past. Everything that is happening now has a historical background, and we'll talk now only of the Meiteis. We will talk about Kukis, Nagas later as and when the questions come, but the Meiteis, they have these two former, these groups are still existing, the valley based insurgent groups. UNLF, the first one raised in 1964, and then they took up arms against the Army and Assam Rifles somewhere 89 or 90. Then you have PLA, which came up subsequently again in 1978. Then you have other factions. You have the you have KYKL, you have KCP. All these are there. Pre-Pak. These are all multiple factions of the Meitei groups, and historically we have been acting against them. So there is always this baggage about Assam Rifles, and all of them in some way have some connect with the civil society. And let me clarify here, it is not that all the Meiteis are against us. It is not the case. It is just that these are some groups who create a narrative that Assam Rifles is against us.
IGP Manipur Police IK Muiwa countered this charge and said that Manipur Police is one and there is no divide.
I want to thank the media for promptly coming for this important press briefing from the Manipur Police. We want to make some very important clarification regarding one press statement by a very senior retired officer, in which they say that there is no Manipur Police, but there is Meitei Police and Kuki Police. So we want to refute that, because this Manipur Police is composed of all kinds of communities, whether it is from the mainland, it is from the Kuki, it is from the Nagas, and it is from the Meiteis. So there is no such thing like that, such statement that he has made, that it is an immature statement, which shows a very myopic kind of mindset. So we want to refute that. And another thing that regarding the drone bombing matter, the Manipur Police has clarified it on its official media handles very clearly, and we stand by it.
Now, the second bite was about the drone. So, Lieutenant General Nair, in my interview, had said no explosive was dropped from the drone in Kurtuk. So, this was in context of Kurtuk, which the IGP said is incorrect. They maintained their position. And Lieutenant General had said that the woman died because of bullet and not shrapnel. Let me play out the bite to clear the context, and then I will go to my guest, because I will be joined by PK Mishra, former IG BSF, and Suhas Shakma, Director, Rights and Risk Analysis Group, and Brijesh Pandey, Input Editor, News9 Live in the studio. But before I go to my guest, let me put these two things in context, and then we will have a meaningful civil conversation on this. Long range missiles, rockets, drones have come into operation. How?
Okay. Again, that's a topic which is very current, and
let's start with drones. I mean, you say drones in, you don't even see them in J&K theatre.
Now what I'm going to do here is, I want to again, I'll keep constantly drawing your attention to Myanmar, because that has a major implication here, and people are not realizing this because of the porous or the open nature of the border. In Myanmar itself, the Myanmar army or the junta first used drones against the Arakan army in 2020, way back in 2020. But after the change in dispensation in Myanmar in February 21, thereafter the PDF and the Three Brotherhood Alliance and all, they also started procuring drones. In the year 2022, October, if I remember, 27th October 22, is when the Three Brotherhood Alliance used drones against a Myanmar army post. They killed 5 soldiers. Used it again in November 22. They killed about 10 Myanmar soldiers. And as late as this year, this April, they used swarm drones. They used 30 drones against where? In Myanmar headquarters, army headquarters in Naypyidaw. Can you imagine 30 drones, swarm drones coming there and attacking? That's what has happened. So, because of the historical connect that people, not just on the border, but in the entire state of Manipur, you are aware of the fact that there are insurgent groups cutting across all factions, Nagas, Meiteis, Kukis, all of them are there. They have camps there in Myanmar. So, obviously, if drone usage has proliferated so much in a matter of 2.5 years, it's very easy for them to procure. Are you aware that there's a company, Chinese company called DJI, which delivers a drone to you at your doorstep on demand? This is happening in Myanmar.
So are you saying that the Kuki militants are
No, I'm coming to that. I'm just giving you a background.
importing these drones?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. When this news first came on the 1st, 2nd of this month, one of the media channels contacted me and asked me, sir, I had just read, I was not still aware of the details. Sir, are you aware that there have been drone strike? I said, I've just read. So, are you surprised? I said, I'm not really surprised, because it is quite possible, because I knew this background of it being used extensively in Myanmar, both by the Myanmar army as also by the PDF. This background I knew, and because the common ethnicity and all this open border, I said it was just a matter of time before it got used. But as I started studying, researching more, but this was what I have found out, and I didn't leave it at that. I checked it from, first I came to know from some of my friends there. I checked it from the forces on ground, the military and Assam Rifle forces. I've checked, they have confirmed. I have also checked it from the army chief, and he has confirmed that there is actually no ammunition dropped. The footage, the pictures that are going around are of which place? They are of Palestine and Myanmar. I have said this in my earlier interviews also. I have about 35 to 40 videos in my mobile, all false, different countries. But what gets propagated is happening in Manipur.
Yes, we are collecting the various evidences in the form of various drones that we have picked up, and also all the forensic kind of things that are left behind at the bombing sites by a forensic team. And we will be most likely handing over these very important cases to national investigating agencies, so that it can be done, it can be fully investigated. This will be done at the highest level. And we take it as extremely serious development. So we are taking it with great and high priority.
So I'm joined by PK Mishra from IGBSF, Suhas Chakma, Director Rights and Risk Analysis Group, and Brijesh Pandey. I'll straight away go to Brijesh. Brijesh, why such discrepancy on issues like drone and impact explosives? Secondly, I think this two police seems to have become a very contentious issue.
Well, the two police would be a contentious issue, because the Manipur government and the Manipur police have been trying to project a unified police force, but based on our at least 16 to 17 months of non-stop coverage of what is happening in Manipur, I've barely come across somebody who has said that that there is a unison. They all say that that majority of the society is divided on ethnic lines, the force is divided on ethnic lines, and that is the reason why whenever you talk about Kuki, or whenever there is a Kuki expert, he always says that we don't trust Manipur police, we don't trust Manipur commando. That is the same thing with Assam Rifles. See, what I find surprisingly, and this is something which I have raised a few times before as well, Karthike, which I find very surprising is, as Mr. Mishra has also pointed out, about the role and the reality of Assam Rifles, because it just cannot be that, that you have deployed such high number of Assam Rifles, which was never in contention before, or their role was never in doubt before. All of a sudden, they have become the villain of the piece. I know that Lieutenant General, who is a former DG Rifles, they gave you a detailed explanation of no, don't see it in this way or don't see it in that way. But the reality is that, other than the way it has to be seen, there is no other way to look at it. I agree that they have been sent to J&K, but were they sent out of their own? No. A lot of doubts were put on about their role, and which is very, very surprising. That if forget Kuki and Meiteis, even the forces are divided. Like Mr. Mishra is saying that Assam Rifles is not capable of guarding the borders. The other people are saying the same thing about the BSF and other things. So it is a very strange collection of very uncomfortable things which are staring at you, and unfortunately nobody is giving you a very clear answer or painting a correct picture as to exactly what is happening there.
Okay, Suhas.
Well, I think it's extremely sad and unfortunate that the former DG of Assam Rifles had to come and speak the truth. And when a person like General Nair speaks after serving in the area, and if that's the ground reality, one actually wonders whether this country or this government has any priority at all. If you had listened to his entire interview, he was already briefing, and New Delhi possibly knows about the implications from Myanmar, that, from an ethnic conflict, from local riots, it became a national security issue. Still, nobody is taking into consideration. And the immediate reaction which came from the uh, Manipur police, it's a scam. And, it's a scandal. I mean, it's hard to find a human being among the Métis and the cookies, because they first identify not as a human being, but first as a Métis and cookie. And it cuts across the sector. It's not only police. And because the situation had, or the ethnic conflict had such an impact. Now, after 16, 17 months, if you are not able to read between the lines that there was basically no cooperation whatsoever between the Assam Rifles and the Manipur police, then you can imagine that, there is not going to be any improvement of the situation. And we have come to a situation where the Manipur continues to burn, and the chief minister even has the audacity to go and tell the governor that, give me the authority and I'll take care of the law and order situation, which would basically invite a bigger problem, because in that case the partisanship, which General Nair had mentioned, will come into play. I mean, then I think it shows in a way that the center is actually not able to resolve the Manipur problem, and will not be able to resolve the Manipur problem in the near future, because it's a rare time, rare thing for a general who just saw, comes out and speaks what he actually saw it. So you can imagine what discussions are going on in the Ministry of Home Affairs or Ministry of Defense or in Imphal. So the
That's
entire
one.
thing
Suhas, I'll
has
come to you.
failed.
That is one aspect of it. Let me just allow Mr. Mishra to come out with his opening statement on this. Why such divergent views, sir?
Karthikeya, I have gone completely through your discussion with the ex-Director General of Assam Rifles, no doubt. Assam Rifles, they have done a good job in Manipur. But I can well tell you, I have also listened to the statement of Mr. Muiba, the IG Police Manipur. I do agree with him. Let's not divide Manipur Police. Another word he could not add, that it is not mighty or Kuki Manipur Police. Naga Manipur Police also he did not add. Perhaps he has forgotten. By the way, I am of the same rank. I was not only IGBSF Manipur, I became Additional Director General of the force also. So I can well tell you, I know if a chief, he knows that the border cannot be guarded by 20 battalions, and he cannot guard it with BOP concept, and he is having less amount of force with him, and he knows that we people, I mean the Myanmaris, they easily can come across, they can cross to Indian side. He knows that the drones and weapons can come to India, to Manipur from Myanmar easily. What was he doing for last so many years on the job? Didn't he ask the government, I require this number of forces so that the border can be guarded properly instead of having COB positions? What is COB positions? You are remaining 5 kilometers away from the border. That's not called border guarding. You have to guard the border. If you cannot guard the border, ask for the force. Government could have given it. Has he asked that I require another 20 or 30 battalions of force to guard the border because so many weapons are coming, so many our militants are there who can cross over, who have already crossed over. The drugs are coming, the drones are coming, and the bombs are coming. I told you in one of my earlier also in one of your conversation that a gentleman, a very senior gentleman, who was a director RIMS and vice chancellor of university, Manipur University, he has seen himself in his own eyes bombs dropping from the drones and at Quds. And I think I have to believe that gentleman. His name is N.B. Singh. He is from Imphal only. let's not divide Manipur police. And I know it pretty well. If you know that puppy cultivation is going on, if you know in Golden Triangle that Afghanistan that was checked and in Myanmar things have gone up, the puppy cultivation has gone up, and that could immediately come into Manipur also. They started puppy cultivation. Who was guarding the border? Why didn't you stop it?
So
Who
one more
stopped
thing.
it?
There is
Yes, who
also
stopped?
okay, fair enough, fair enough. I'm not
Yes.
I'm not taking any sides. There is one more issue, Suhas. I would like to I'd like you to comment on this. And this Mr. Mishra, he said, you know, there's other side of the story. He was speaking about the colonel. He said, who pushes an army colonel? He said, you know, sometimes one narrative becomes stronger. You know, and he said this in interview that Mehra Paibis had actually prevented Assam Rifles their movement in context of operations. There are a number of things he has put it on record.
Well, I think one thing is we can always ignore the reality and believe or live in illusion that, certain things do not exist. It's like saying there is no division between the Hindus and Muslims in this country. So when somebody speaks about the division between in the Manipur police along the ethnic lines, that's reality. We all want Manipur police to be one. But the reality is people have been dividing along ethnic lines. Now, if we put it under the carpet, obviously then the problem no longer exists. Just the way the government of India believes that there is no problem in Manipur. And that's what I was saying. If you are a central security force, when you yourself had to, provide your identity cards to the vigilante groups run by the Meitei sites as well as the Kuki sites when you are crossing the borders or from one district border to another district border. Imagine the kind of impact it had on the moral when there were counterinsurgency operations. The Assam Rifles, Manipur Police, and all the security forces, we are asking the people to show their identity cards. That's the authority of sovereign power of the security forces in this country. But when the government of India allowed, as you are saying, that you do not use force for even law enforcement, for even catching the people who are accused of violating the law, then obviously the edifice of the state structure had collapsed on that day. And it still exists in that situation. That's what I was saying in the previous interview. There's a question of appeasement from both sides. You basically want the security forces deployed in the state to act like a peacekeeping force just to control the peace, hoping that it will find a solution on its own, which is not going to find because of the situation which is developing in the neighboring country. So if you look at it, I cannot imagine. Can somebody imagine that security forces of this country will show their identity cards for traveling from one area to the other area to some guys who have put up a barricade and checking everything? That day itself, India collapsed in Manipur. And that's the reality. And we're still living in illusion, saying that it's going to find a solution on its own.
You know,
People are not-
ठीक है, I know. That's one way of looking at it. The structure of governance collapsing. But there's also another way of looking at it. After conducting the interview, Mr. Mishra, I also realized that there is also, not being on the same page. You see, there are subtle ways of dealing with things. If you go through my interview, it's not a slanging match. I'm asking the questions, he's answering it back, because I wanted interview to be the star, not the interviewee or the interviewer, the conversation to be the star. And I realized that it tells me as a journalist that the security forces are not on the same page.
Yes, Karthik, I have gone through it totally. I have gone through your interview or the discussion which took place between you and the ex-Director General of Assam Rifles. And every sentence what you have spoken, you have asked and he answered, I have gone through. Yes, it's a fact that it's nice that he has given a absolutely full brief of what happened in Myanmar and what happened in Manipur. He elaborated it very nicely because he knew the field. He knew the field. He served in that area. But you see, I have to tell why. What for the people they don't trust? Why these two battalions only were shifted from Kankopi and Churachandpur, not from other areas. There are certain regions, definitely. So that he has to mention. That's not the way. But definitely, but stating that the police is divided, it goes against the moral of Manipur police. We have to see that some statements should not come. We have to see the moral of the police force. You see, they are the local police force. The local intelligence will come from the local Manipur police also. Because we cannot tell that Jammu Kashmir police, they are not working. They are divided between Jammu police and Kashmir police. Certainly not. They are unified command like that. And Manipur police is Manipur police. I have served with them. And they are very nice, whether that is in Churachandpur or that is in Chandel or that is in Bishnupur. They were of quite help to
Okay.
us in our operation. And we should not have such words for dividing Manipur police. But yes, I can well tell you, if I have the information and intelligence that the security of the nation, security of the state is jeopardized because of the opposite side, because of the demographic change in the opposite side, because of the group which are operating, because of these weapons which are coming from opposite. We should have taken some action for guarding the border and also for
Okay.
having counterinsurgency operations in those areas from where they're penetrating. So what have we done?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Mishra, I have no issue. As a journalist, if you ask me, my job is to give the different sides of the story. My job is not to become a side. My job is to give a different side of the story and to have a decent discourse. So please, Mr. Mishra and Mr. Chakma, don't go away. Don't go away, because now I'm going to change gear. And now I'm going to change gear, because something has happened in the last 48 hours. Manipur government has suspended the internet service in the state until September 15, aiming to curb the spread of fake news and prevent incitement of violence through social media amid ongoing tension in the state. These are the visuals, and I'll play them one by one. Sudden protests all over Manipur. Manipur police in a press conference on Tuesday has warned against the use of social media to incite violence and spread fake narratives.
And some vested interest groups are instigating this. We are monitoring all these things, and we are also monitoring the social media websites, the Facebooks, and the various WhatsApp groups. So we will be taking actions against those who have indulged in excesses. We are taking screenshots of all the things that, even though it is deleted later on, the screenshots are there with other documentations. So all these things, when someone just spread a false kind of a message with a false picture, those kind of things create panic, and those kind of things create confusion, and it even fuels the charge up kind of tense situation in our society presently. So we appeal to all those social media people, users, to use it responsibly in a positive way, and not to spread false things, and not to instigate others.
Not only this, an indefinite curfew has been imposed in Imphal West and Imphal East, and prohibitory orders were imposed in Thubul in midst of the escalation of violence that has led to lot of injuries. And 11 people have died since September 1. Let me play out the visuals full screen. These are different visuals from different places. More than 40 people have been injured in the protests. These are the visuals from Imphal. Both Imphal East and Imphal West districts have issued curfew orders effective from 11 a.m. on Tuesday, citing the developing law and order situation. So now curfew is in place. The district administration in Imphal West restricted the movement of any person outside the respective residences until further orders exempting. Exempting, let me put this very clear. Certain exemptions are there. And those exemptions are essential services, 1, media, medical services, electricity, court and health. However, despite curfew, student protesters took to the streets in Imphal West and continued with their protest. Let me play out some bites first.
Peace. This war we are disturbing against the student this war disturb our students' life. That we want peace. We want our government to listen our voice. That's why we want the government to take against the. We don't want drone bombing against us.
The police tried to disperse the protesters. The student protesters clashed with them. Police had issued a warning that protesters should not try to attack the police. Forces had to respond with tear gas shells. As I said, PTI reports 40 people have been injured. Manipur police has urged the students to maintain calm and not to indulge in violence.
Another thing is that regarding the student protest that is going on, we want to appeal to the students that, of course, a democratic kind of rally and sit-in and all these things are part and parcel of our democratic kind of setup. But we appeal to them not to indulge in violence, because all that kind of things create unnecessary kind of problems, which cause injuries even to our police personnel as well as to the students and other civilians, and it is very counterproductive. So we appeal to the students to do it in a peaceful manner.
Now let me introduce Group Captain B. Nandakumar Sharma and Advocate Viswajit Singh, Legal Advisor to the Kuki Civil Society. Thank you so much. But let me first, can you just increase the light, Mr. Singh? Your face is not, I'll come back to you. The light is not on the face. But to you, Mr. Nandakumar Sharma, first to you. Why has protest broken out like this in the entire valley?
Kartike, firstly, these students, they are worried about their future since so more than 1.5 years, the problems are lingering, and due to recent drone bombing and missile or rocket launch and the killing of 2 persons and the injury of many lives. So that is the main reason, and the state government and the central government, they are not taking any measurable actions against this ANE, that is anti-national elements. That's why people, the students especially, they are coming out on the streets and protesting. Kartikeyan, I would like to take some more time because yesterday, since you heard the interview of the
Mr. Sharma, I didn't stop you.
2 seconds,
I didn't stop you.
Yeah.
Why are you saying that you need more time?
So
I haven't even stopped you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yesterday, the interview of the retired DG Assam Rifle, it has provoked many thoughts, and many people have contacted me and to express our feelings and views. And firstly, if the DG of the Assam Rifle has the feeling of such this thing about the Meiteis and Manipur, then it is very sad and it will not be able to solve the problem. The first, if a doctor has to treat a patient, then he has to know the history of the problem. So the wrong history has been shown to the people or to the main media, and especially since he was a DG of Assam Rifle, he would be projecting similar narratives to the government of India. That's why problems are lingering more than 1.5 years. So we need to know what exactly is the problem, and the problem is it actually started for the demand of the STs by the Meitei, and everything falls out as you know. However, I would like to put few more points. He denied the use of drones. Drone is a very generic term, and the identified object shown by so many people in the local people was a drone, in fact, and the bomb was dropped. And I have seen in your channel also the drone hit rooftops. And in fact, nobody reported from Manipur that Mrs. Surbula was hit by the drone. She was shot by the bullet. It was reported, and Mr. Or Sri R.K. Rabe, he was killed by the splinters of the rocket propelled grenade. So his claim for not using drone is absolutely false, and especially the Western medias in parlance of India, and especially for the Manipuris, the outside Manipur media, they do not seem to believe the ground reports because it doesn't have the stamp of a reputed reporter or ANI something. Whereas it is not. Informations are collected from the ground. Similarly, I was in the I was in the Air Force. There are so many noises, spurious signals. There will be false alarms in the radar scope. But we are trained to select the target. Similarly, DG, the retired DG should be able to identify the true videos which he have received, and let it be thousands of fake videos, but one correct video is very important to identify the problem. And also he said there was no missile used. Yes, he is absolutely wrong. TNT can never be used to propel the missile, and the object which was launched from the hill to the Moirang was qualified to call a missile. It has a wings, it has 7 feet length as reported by you also in other media, and it has 23 kilogram in weight. It qualifies to call a missile, and it hit and it causes many damages. So his call for using for missile rocket is false. Absolutely, he doesn't have either information, or he is misleading the mass media of India intentionally or unintentionally. Also, the Pompi, he used the word Pompi. Pompi is only the gola comes out. The whole item doesn't come. So the Pompi is different. It was not a Pompi used in the Moirang. And also the ethnic classes, he termed ethnic classes and the not involvement of foreign hands. It is absolutely wrong. The Myanmar is a foreign nation, and from where all these items, arms and ammunition are coming from? If foreign hands are not coming, is it supplied by this? People of the Manipur are asking, is arms and ammunition by the Kuki people? If foreign hands are not there, is it supplied by the Indian forces? I don't think so. It is coming from the Myanmar. It is a foreign, so definitely there is a hands of the foreign involvement is there. He cannot deny that. And also he tried to demean or defame the Meitei women, which is incorrect. When there was a nick of a time when even I will take the example of Sugnu. When a lady called help many times the Assam. Please, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I'm not please. I'm not stopping you. The question was Mehra Paibis, not Meitei women. You know, we have to be very clear. You know, I have kept this ability.
I'll talk about Mehra
I have kept this. I have made it a fundamental part of my show that we will not other people. Mehra Paibis, not Meitei women.
I'll say Mehra Paibis.
Yes.
All the women, for the clarification of the viewers, I'll tell all the Manipuri Meiteis are Mehra Paibi. Okay, Kuki may deny it, but all the Manipuri women are part of Mehra Paibi. As and when they require, they comes out voluntarily and they become a Mehra Paibi. See, they have been the Mehra Paibis. When the crisis was initially started, I'll take the example of Sugnu once again. The ladies, the Mehra Paibis of Sugnu, they contacted Assam Rifle nearby, but they did not come for help.
Do I have the permission to go to other guests? Now you cannot say that I have not allowed you to speak. Do I have your permission to go to other guests?
15 seconds.
Do I have your permission to go to my other guests?
Did not come and help. So they supported village volunteer. That's why when Assam Rifles come for this thing at they stop. That's why. So please do not demean the women.
You stay in the program now. It's not the time you go away. Other people will also react. Let me go across to Advocate Vishwajit Singh, legal advisor to the Kuki Civil Society. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me on my show. My question to you is, why has so many protests happened in last 72 hours in the valley? Or last 80 hours in the valley, suddenly?
Thank you, Karthike. Well, these protests are not, I don't I would not term them as sudden, first of all. These small protests have been happening right from the beginning of the violence. In the valley, it were the Mirapaibis who were protesting in large numbers. And then there were sort of flag marches by Arambai Tengol, the private militia. And then now suddenly there was quiet for some time, but now suddenly in the last 72 hours, uh, these protests have suddenly broken out, and they appear to be very fierce this time. And I would attribute this to a huge volume of fake news being peddled by certain sections of the media who have been showing footage from Myanmar or footage from Israel or Gaza as a drone or rocket footage from Manipur, which has suddenly, and everybody who's coming out, anybody who's even coming on representing people, the the majority community on TV channels, etc. Everybody is just citing this drone attacks and missile attacks, which has been denied by the former DG of the Assam Rifles. Even the present DG of the Assam Rifles has denied any attack by drones. Use of drones is acknowledged by both sides as for the purpose of surveillance on each other, but ammunition dropping drones have so far there's no evidence of any such drone used for dropping ammunition, and the most of the ammunition that has
So
been
you have made 2 points. You're saying fake news,
unexploded are mortar shells.
Okay, so you're saying 2 things. There are fake news, circulation of weapons. It has really angered the people.
Behind the sudden, yes. Behind
2
the
points
sudden eruption of protests,
okay,
it is certainly led by fake news.
Fake news. What's your assessment, Brijesh, quickly? Why is this happening?
Well, I think, I mean, fake news and all, we all know that the kind of role they play in fanning a particular situation, taking it out of control, and any kind of crackdown, irrespective of the people who are involved in it, is most welcome by state, by military, by whosoever responsible for it. See, I think, there is, when the Jiribam and all, which was happening, violence in Jiribam and all, it was like, one attack in 15 days and all. I think in the last 15 days, ever since, the news of a explosive being dropped by a drone came, and I think post that, when the news, another news came that a missile object has been launched. Post that, all of a sudden, pressure is being put.
I think there are 2 things happening. You're right. One drone was second the missile, and suddenly there was a demand to empower the chief minister.
Empower the chief minister. A, by chief minister himself, and B, by the protesters.
And the protest was against the centre, not against the chief minister.
And I mean, even if you look at the protest,
let me just take the cue from this, and I'll come back to you.
I'll just 30 seconds. What they're saying is that they are also demanding removal of all the central forces, and they're also demanding sacking of the DGP of Manipur Police.
Okay, so Mr. Mishra, what is this happening? Then I'll come to you, Suhas. Why is this anger? Why is this anger directed against centre? And Mr. Mishra, why is this protest taking place suddenly like this?
Yes, Kartika, I can well tell you, perhaps the center might not have penetrated properly or given proper guidance to the Chief Minister approval. I don't want to make any political statement. Perhaps the way the paramilitary forces or the central security forces which are deployed in Manipur, they may not be acting, or they were not acting properly, for which all these incidents have happened. But I can tell you, the use of drones and getting drugs and particularly the RPGs to Manipur and utilizing of this, and big ethnic classes happening at the Jiribam, and this continuing for more than 1 year. It started from 23. It could have been sorted out by a political discussion between all the parties, those who are either Nagas.
But my question to you is, why such eruption of violence in Imphal, Kangpokpi, in other areas? The civil.
Why has centre not been able to get a grasp of what is going on?
Yes,
I can understand Assam Rifle, but why was centre so ignorant of what you, Mr. Mishra, is saying? How was the centre so ignorant about Assam Rifle not being able to guard?
what is happening, it is very well known to the center. It's not that they do not know. They
Then why are
must
they
be
not
know.
acting?
And Samit Patraji also visited. I'm
No,
very
no, but
sure
why
that
aren't they
he
acting,
Okay,
visited.
sir?
I think, okay, fair enough.
don't know.
I think I need to get Suhas also. He's patiently waiting. I know he has something to say. I'll come back to
I'm
Mr.
not
Mishra.
a party
Suhas has
from any
something to say.
political party.
Yes, yes, Suhas. Suhas has something to say.
No, I think if you look at the incidents which are taking place in Manipur, I think what we always do not take into consideration is the influence the events in the neighboring places have. I think, yeah, of course, I mean, the conflicts have been continuing for last 1.5 years, but certain incidents which may not even have been captured in the media. That's one is pulling down the flag
Said
of
okay, yes,
basically,
flag issue.
yeah,
Vishwajit
pulling.
said that those Hamas visuals and other things which were circulating. The fake news really.
No, I am not saying it. What I'm saying is there was an incident where students pulled down Indian flag and raised what they call the flag of the Seven Sisters. That's one issue. The second issue is, I mean, some of the students said if students could play such an important role in Bangladesh, why can't we play in Manipur? And if you look at the cookie side, then you would see that, if the Myanmar government is failing and collapsing, if they can have, autonomy kind of a thing, bigger autonomy there, why can't we have it? So the events which are taking
I
place
agree with
in
you,
and
Suhas.
around are actually influenced.
Bangladesh is a dysfunctional democracy. There is no democracy in Myanmar. I mean, so you have a functional democracy in India.
No.
How can you have those comparisons in
No,
context
no,
of
no, no,
Northeast?
no, no. I'm not talking about comparisons. Some students saying, if Motivated students were saying, if the students could play such a powerful role in Bangladesh, we could play similar role in Manipur. So, it's not a question of whether you are having a functioning democracy, whether you have enough space for everybody. It's for people to get influenced by events somewhere. It takes place everywhere. I mean, it's the new thing.
You're basically
That's the
saying
way
that, okay,
mobilization.
ठीक है, I don't deny that the events which happen around you don't affect you. Yeah, I can understand that. As a matter of logic, it must have done so. Do you agree with this, Mr. Sharma?
Kartikeya, it may be a slight influence, but it is not exactly as we have seen in Bangladesh. And these are the Bangladesh students, they are more of the college students. In Manipur, you would have seen children, school-going children. They would have been briefed by the, say, politicians who are trying to take the situation, advantage of the situation. That may be one reason. But I don't see any major outbreak because they also, if you ask independently, they will not know what they are doing. What they know is they want peace in Manipur, they want to study peacefully, and they want to progress in their life. This is what they are saying. But however, due to the ongoing problem, their studies are disturbed. This is their this thing. So this is their voice, which they have been raising repeatedly, and also they are bordered by their parents' source of income, which many are not from well-doing this class of people. So due to the interruption of national highways, the prices of all the commodities are high, and also the travel, because of various reasons outside the Manipur, they cannot undertake with a cheaper rate by road. That is national highway. We cannot access, the Meiteis cannot access beyond Kangpokpi. In fact, there is a board, caution, Kangpokpi ahead. So there is, in fact, security forces stop it. You can't do it. So it's a frustration coming out, and they are not able to express what exactly they have to do. That is why the people are coming and protesting. As the situation goes and prolong, the level of frustration will go and more confusion will be created, and it will be easy to take advantage of such people by, say, vested people.
Let me ask a question to Vishwajit. Vishwajit, this is for the first time we are interacting. Can there be a sort of a conversation between the Kuki civil society and the Meitei civil society? Is that impossible?
No, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. And there have been efforts to reach each other. It's not totally impossible. But in the prevailing situation, there is a huge trust deficit. And till the time the present government which is the Manipur government, till the time these people are sitting in the government, and particularly the chief minister of Manipur has absolutely lost the trust not only of the Kuki people but also of a large section of the Meitei people. And he is totally partisan. And for the last few days, he has been seeking control of the unified command. Control of the unified command cannot be given to a partisan. It has to rest with a neutral person. So till the time this present dispensation is sitting in Manipur, and till the time they are unable to tackle the private militia which is calling the shots in Imphal, till that time any meaningful talk is not possible. I can say that.
Okay, I think that's very well put. But the situation in Manipur will require constant monitoring. I think the situation in Manipur will also require some sort of a healing touch right now. Just because you have forces on the field doesn't mean that the anger has subsided. If the anger subsides on the street, the anger goes back to home. And I think the most important thing is, last time when I interviewed Deepu Gangmai, who was heading the peace committee, he was pretty sure. I think the talk of peace has to overcome the issues of missiles, drones. I'm not saying that they don't exist or they have no place in the Manipur battlefield. They are, and those are the issues that need to be dealt with. Conversations have to take place, but sometimes there has to be a line drawn in terms of circulation of fake news. I think I completely agree with the Manipur police that they should crack down on the fake news. And I can tell you, as a journalist, I was also sent those, I also had those visuals which were in circulation, and I did not run it on the channel because I immediately realized ye to India ke visuals nahi hai. Because we want to cover Manipur in its entirety in a truthful way, not exaggerating the truth, not undermining the truth. The job of the News 9 is to say the truth as it is. We will neither exaggerate the truth, we will not undermine the truth, we will neither break the law. But we will not be silenced on the issue which are grave and important for national security. But then as a journalist, I fundamentally believe that in democracy the people come first. People make communities and communities make a nation. And Manipur is an integral and sovereign part of India. And I personally believe, yes, there cannot be a territorial disruption of Manipur. But then, yes, if there cannot be territorial disruption of Manipur, it makes it even more incumbent for powerful people to ensure that the disgruntled elements are taken care of, and those who can be part of peace process can be brought in. Something which was being tried in Jiribam at a local level, and I then supported the Chief Minister, and I did multiple programs that local Jiribam peace process is the way to go forward. But it also doesn't mean that we also stop talking to the other 30, 35, 40%. The conversation has to take place. The othering needs to end. And I give you the assurance, our coverage will neither underestimate the truth nor over-exaggerate the fact. Neither we will break the law, nor we will allow any fake photo, fake narrative on my channel. But I will definitely present you all sides of the story, because as a journalist, I am not supposed to take any side. My job is to put all sides of the story honestly, truthfully, because as a journalist, the first loyalty when you learn this profession is to the people, to the readers, people who are watching us, who have put us in pedestal, who have given us this importance. And now let me play out a bite of the Manipur police again.
Right now we are studying it. It is being done by the forensic team. So we'll be later on we'll be disclosing whatever our findings at a certain later stage. Right now we would not like to comment on the preliminary kind of things, but we have received, we have recovered all those bomb fragments and all those things. So when it is sent to the forensic lab, all the chemicals that are used, all those things and many other things will be detected.